Block 1. Hook and Introduction. December often feels like a dead season for gardeners, but in zones 9 to 10 this month opens unique opportunities that northern growers can only dream about. While frost blankets most of the country, southern gardens can produce fresh harvests throughout winter. Many gardeners miss December planting windows, unaware that this period lays the foundation for spring abundance. Mild winter temperatures, absence of extreme heat, and reduced pest pressure create ideal conditions for a dozen vegetable crops. Understanding what to plant in December can completely transform winter gardening approaches and keep families supplied with fresh produce during cold months. This Top 10 countdown reveals the best options for December planting, starting from number 10 and building up to the absolute champion of winter gardens. Block 2. Why December matters in zones 9-10. USDA hardiness zones 9 to 10 cover regions where winter temperatures rarely drop below 20 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing cold hardy crops to thrive year-round. December becomes crucial for planting because soil temperatures remain workable, while cooler air temperatures slow pest reproduction and reduce water stress on young seedlings. These zones include coastal California, southern Texas, central and southern Florida, and parts of Arizona, where December actually marks the beginning of prime growing season for many vegetables. The shorter daylight hours slow growth rates, which means crops take longer to mature but develop better flavor intensity and nutritional density. Planting in December also positions vegetables to size up during January and February when days gradually lengthen, leading to strong spring harvests. Gardens in these zones can produce continuously if gardeners understand which crops handle the specific challenges of winter growing, including occasional cold snaps, increased rainfall in some areas, and slower soil warming. Block 3. Number 10. Swiss chard. Swiss chard lands at number 10 because it combines reliable cold tolerance with continuous harvest potential throughout winter and spring. This leafy green handles temperatures down to 25 degrees with minimal protection and actually develops sweeter flavor after light frosts. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures as low as 50 degrees, making December planting perfectly viable in zones 9 to 10. Direct seeding works well, with seeds planted half-inch deep and spaced 3 to 4 inches apart in rows 12-18 inches wide. Germination typically occurs within 7-14 days, depending on soil temperature, and plants reach harvest size in 50-60 days, though outer leaves can be picked much earlier. Bright Lights, Ford Hook Giant, and Ruby Red varieties all perform excellently in winter conditions. Chard tolerates various soil types, but thrives in well-draining beds with pH between 6.0–7.0, and consistent moisture without waterlogging keeps leaves tender. The large leaves shelter developing centers from wind and light frosts, creating self-protection. Common problems include leaf miners, which cause less damage in cooler weather, and slugs during wet periods. Harvest by cutting outer leaves 2 inches above soil, allowing centers to continue producing for months. The main limitation keeping chard at number 10 is that while productive, it lacks the urgency and intensity that higher-ranked vegetables bring to December gardens. Block 4. Number 9. Beets. Beets secure 9th place as reliable root vegetables that handle cool soil conditions and provide both greens and roots for harvest. December planting allows beets to develop slowly, producing tender roots with concentrated sweetness that spring-planted beets rarely achieve. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures between 50–85 degrees, with December's cooler conditions resulting in 10 to 14-day germination periods. Plant seeds 1 inch apart and ½ inch deep in loose, rock-free soil, as compacted ground produces misshapen roots. Detroit Dark Red, Golden, and Chioggia varieties all adapt well to winter growing, with maturity occurring 55–70 days after planting. Beets prefer slightly alkaline soil with pH 6.5–7.5, and adding wood ash or lime before planting improves growth in acidic conditions. Consistent moisture proves essential because fluctuating water availability causes tough, woody roots with growth rings. Thin seedlings to 3 to 4 inches apart once they reach 2 inches tall, using thinned greens in salads. The biggest challenge involves proper spacing and thinning, as beet seeds are actually fruit clusters containing multiple seeds, leading to crowded growth if not managed. Leaf miners occasionally damage foliage but rarely impact root development. Harvest timing flexibility gives beets an advantage since both baby beets at 1 to 2 inches and full-sized roots at 3 inches work well, and greens can be harvested separately anytime. Beets rank at number 9 because, while dependable, they require more soil preparation and thinning attention than higher-ranked crops. And the dual harvest approach sometimes confuses newer gardeners about optimal picking times. Block 5, number 8. Radishes. Radishes claim 8th position due to incredibly fast maturity and ability to fill gaps between slower-growing crops. These quick-growing roots reach harvest size in just 25–30 days from December planting, making them ideal for gardeners wanting rapid results. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures as low as 40 degrees Celsius, though 50–65 degrees Celsius produces faster emergence, and December conditions in zones 9 to 10 typically fall within this range. Plant seeds half-inch deep and 1 inch apart in rows 6 inches wide, and unlike beets, radishes genuinely need no thinning if properly spaced initially. Cherry Belle, French Breakfast, and White Icicle varieties all excel in winter conditions, with cooler temperatures preventing the spiciness and woodiness that plague spring-planted radishes. Radishes prefer loose, well-draining soil with pH 6.0–7.0, and heavy clay or compacted beds produce forked or stubby roots. Consistent moisture remains critical because dry spells cause hot, pithy radishes, while excessive water leads to cracking. The main pest concern involves flea beetles, though December's cooler temperatures significantly reduce their activity compared to spring planting. Succession planting every 10 to 14 days maintains continuous harvest throughout winter, and this reliability makes radishes valuable for beginners building confidence. The limitation placing radishes at number 8 involves their single-harvest nature, as each plant produces one root and then finishes, requiring constant replanting, unlike cut-and-come-again greens. Additionally, some gardeners find radishes less versatile in cooking compared to other winter vegetables, though their crisp texture and peppery bite add valuable contrast to winter salads and stir-fries. Chamberville. Block 6, number 7. Carrots. Carrots earn 7th place as classic cool-season roots that develop exceptional sweetness when grown through winter months. December planting positions carrots to mature during late winter and early spring, producing roots with sugar content that warm-weather carrots cannot match. Seeds germinate slowly in cool soil, taking 14–21 days to emerge in December temperatures, and this patience requirement tests many gardeners. Plant seeds 1/4 inch deep in loose, deep soil free of rocks and clumps, as obstacles cause forked or twisted roots that look odd but taste fine. Danvers, Nantes, and Chantenay varieties perform well in winter conditions, with shorter Chantenay types working better in heavy soil. Carrots demand friable soil to depth of 12 inches for standard varieties, though shorter types manage in 8 inches, and double-digging beds before planting prevents most root deformities. Consistent moisture throughout growth cycle keeps roots tender and prevents cracking, with drip irrigation providing better results than overhead watering. The tiny seeds challenge even experienced gardeners, often resulting in either bare patches or excessive crowding. And mixing carrot seeds with radish seeds helps mark rows, while radishes break soil crust for emerging carrots. Thin carrots to 2–3 inches apart once they reach pencil thickness, using thinned baby carrots in cooking. Rust flies pose minimal threat in December plantings due to cool temperatures, and carrot weevils rarely appear in winter. Harvest flexibility allows leaving carrots in ground until needed, as winter cold keeps them fresh and prevents bolting. Carrots land at 7th because while delicious and reliable, they require excellent soil preparation, patient germination waiting, and careful thinning that some gardeners find tedious compared to simpler crops ranking higher. Java, Block 7, Number 6. Kale takes 6th position as the ultimate cold-hardy green that actually improves in flavor after exposure to frost. This member of the Brassica family tolerates temperatures down to 20 degrees without protection and continues producing leaves throughout winter and into spring. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures between 45 and 85 degrees, with December conditions perfect for establishment, and plants reach harvestable size in 55–75 days, though baby leaves can be picked much earlier. Plant seeds 1/4 to 1/2 inch deep and 3 to 4 inches apart, later thinning to 12–18 inches between plants for full-sized growth. Lacinato, dinosaur kale, winter boar, and red Russian varieties all excel in winter conditions, with each offering different leaf textures and cold tolerance levels. Kale thrives in rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.0–7.5 and generous compost additions before planting support the heavy feeding this crop demands. Consistent moisture and monthly applications of balanced fertilizer keep leaves tender, as stressed plants produce tough, bitter foliage. The biggest advantage kale brings involves harvest method, as picking outer leaves while leaving growing centers intact provides continuous production for 4 to 6 months from single planting. Aphids sometimes cluster on leaf undersides during warm spells, but cool water spray or insecticidal soap controls them easily. Cabbage worms occasionally appear but cause less damage in winter than spring plantings experience. Kale's positioning at number 6 reflects its reliability and productivity, though the slightly longer maturity time compared to other greens and the necessity of removing tough center ribs before cooking require more processing than simpler vegetables. Some gardeners also find kale's robust flavor overwhelming in large quantities, though massaging leaves with oil and acid tenderizes them significantly and mellows the taste. Yaban, Block 8, Number 5. Lettuce. Lettuce claims 5th place as the quintessential cool season crop that produces quickly and handles December planting with minimal fuss. This fast-growing green actually prefers cooler temperatures and often bolts or turns bitter in warm weather, making December through February the prime growing window in zones 9 to 10. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures between 40–80 degrees, with optimal germination occurring at 60–65 degrees, and December conditions typically fall within this range. Plant seeds 1/4 inch deep and 1 inch apart for leaf lettuce or 6 to 8 inches apart for head types, with rows spaced 12 inches wide. Buttercrunch, romaine, red sails, and oak leaf varieties all perform excellently in winter conditions, offering different textures and colors for varied salads. Lettuce prefers rich, moisture-retentive soil with pH 6.0–7.0 and working compost into beds before planting supports the shallow root system. Consistent moisture proves absolutely critical because any drought stress triggers premature bolting and bitter flavor, and daily light watering often works better than heavy soaking. The beauty of leaf lettuce involves continuous harvest by picking outer leaves, allowing centers to keep producing for 6 to 8 weeks from single planting. Head lettuce requires cutting entire plants at maturity, but produces satisfying, crunchy results. Slugs pose the main pest threat during wet weather, attacking young seedlings especially, and crushed eggshell barriers or beer traps control them without chemicals. Aphids sometimes cluster in lettuce hearts, but rinse away easily. Succession planting every 2 to 3 weeks maintains constant supply, and fast maturity of 30 to 50 days, depending on variety, means harvests begin relatively quickly. Lettuce ranks at number 5 because while extremely productive and reliable, it requires vigilant moisture management and protection from slugs. Plus, the delicate leaves demand careful washing and quick consumption as they store poorly compared to hardier greens, ranking higher. Chapeur, Block 9, number 4, broccoli. Broccoli secures 4th place as a premium cool season crop that produces generous harvests and handles December planting exceptionally well in zones 9 to 10. This brassica thrives in winter temperatures and actually produces better flavor and tighter heads when grown in cool conditions rather than spring heat. Transplants work better than direct seeding for December planting, as 4 to 6 week-old seedlings establish faster and produce heads more reliably. Space transplants 18-24 inches apart in rows 36 inches wide, giving plants room to develop side shoots after main head harvest. Calabrese, Desico, and Belstar varieties all perform well in winter conditions, with maturity occurring 60-90 days after transplanting. Broccoli demands rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.0, 7.5, and heavy feeding throughout growth cycle produces the best heads. Add compost before planting and side dress with nitrogen-rich fertilizer every 3-4 weeks, as inadequate nutrients result in small, loose heads. Consistent moisture keeps heads forming properly, and mulching around plants maintains even soil moisture while suppressing weeds. The main head forms at central growing point, and after cutting it 5 to 6 inches down the stem, side shoots continue producing smaller heads for weeks. Cabbage worms represent the primary pest concern, chewing holes in leaves and contaminating heads, but row covers exclude them completely, or BT spray controls them organically. Aphids occasionally cluster on stems, but rarely cause serious damage. Harvest main heads when buds appear tight and before any yellow flowers appear, as opened flowers indicate overmaturity and bitter flavor. Broccoli's position at 4th reflects its productivity and high value as a premium vegetable, though the longer maturity time, heavier feeding requirements, and pest management needs place it below the top 3 crops that offer even easier success for December planting. Block 10. Number 3. Peas. Peas earn 3rd place as exceptional cool season legumes that fix their own nitrogen while producing sweet, tender pods throughout late winter and spring. December, planting in zones 9 to 10 positions peas perfectly for harvest during February through April, avoiding the heat stress that ruins spring-planted crops in these warm regions. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures as low as 40 degrees, though 50-70 degrees produces faster emergence, and December conditions typically allow 7 to 14-day germination. Plant seeds 1 to 2 inches deep and 2 to 3 inches apart along supports, as all varieties except dwarf types need trellising. Sugar snap, snow peas, and shelling varieties all thrive in winter conditions, with sugar snaps offering the versatility of eating pods or shelling peas. Peas prefer well-draining soil with pH 6.0, 7.5, and surprisingly need little fertilizer since root nodules fix atmospheric nitrogen, actually improving soil for following crops. Install trellises, fences, or netting at planting time, as waiting until vines elongate risks root damage and the tendrils need immediate support once emerging. Consistent moisture matters during flowering and pod formation, as drought stress causes pods to abort or become stringy, but excessive water rots roots. Powdery mildew sometimes appears during humid conditions, but causes minimal damage in winter's drier air compared to spring plantings. Aphids occasionally cluster on growing tips, but cool water spray dislodges them easily. Harvest peas at peak tenderness when pods appear plump, but before peas inside become starchy, checking daily once production begins. The remarkable advantage peas bring involves heavy production from small space when vertically trellised, and the sweet flavor of winter-grown peas surpasses anything store-bought or warm-weather grown. Peas rank third because while extremely productive and beneficial to soil, they require sturdy support structures and close monitoring for optimal harvest timing. Plus, the vining habit and trellis needs intimidate some beginning gardeners compared to the simpler ground-level crops taking the top two positions. Block 11. Number 2. Spinach. Spinach claims second place as perhaps the most cold-hardy and reliable green for December planting in zones 9 to 10. This nutritional powerhouse actually prefers temperatures between 35–75 degrees and produces tender, sweet leaves when grown in cool conditions. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures as low as 35 degrees, though 50–70 degrees produces faster emergence, and December provides ideal conditions for establishment. Plant seeds half-inch deep and 2 to 3 inches apart in rows, 12 inches wide, or broadcast seeds and thin to appropriate spacing once seedlings emerge. Bloomsdale, Space, Tyee, and Regiment varieties all excel in winter conditions, with Savoy types offering crinkled leaves that some prefer, while smooth leaf varieties clean easier. Spinach thrives in rich, well-draining soil with pH 6.5–7.0, and generous compost additions support the heavy feeding this fast-growing crop requires. Consistent moisture maintains tender leaf texture, as drought stress causes premature bolting and bitter flavor, even in cool weather. The tremendous advantage spinach brings involves incredibly fast maturity, with baby leaves ready to harvest in just 25–30 days and full-sized plants reaching peak in 40–50 days. Harvest by picking outer leaves or cutting entire plants 1 to 2 inches above soil. And with leaf harvest method, plants continue producing for 6 to 8 weeks. Succession planting every 2 to 3 weeks maintains continuous supply throughout winter and spring. Downy mildew poses the main disease concern in humid conditions, appearing as yellow patches on upper leaf surfaces with purple-gray growth underneath. But resistant varieties and good air circulation prevent most problems. Aphids sometimes cluster on new growth, but rinse away easily. Leaf miners occasionally tunnel through leaves, creating white trails, but damaged leaves simply get composted, while plants keep producing clean foliage. Spinach earns second place due to exceptional cold hardiness, nutritional density, fast maturity, and continuous harvest potential, with the only limitation being slightly more pest and disease susceptibility than the number one crop, plus the tendency to bolt if any unexpected warm spell occurs, though this rarely happens with December plantings in zones 9 to 10 that mature before significant heat arrives. Choctaw, Block 12. Number 1. Arugula. Arugula takes first place as the absolute champion of December, planting in zones 9 to 10, offering unmatched combination of cold tolerance, rapid maturity, continuous production, and distinctive flavor. This member of the Brassica family actually thrives in cool weather and becomes unbearably peppery and tough when temperatures rise, making winter the ideal growing season. Seeds germinate in soil temperatures as low as 40 degrees, with optimal germination at 55–65 degrees, and December conditions typically produce emergence in just 5 to 7 days, faster than almost any other vegetable. Plant seeds 1/4 inch deep and 1 inch apart in rows 6 to 12 inches wide, or broadcast seeds across beds, and thin to avoid overcrowding. Rocket, Astro, and Sylvetta varieties all perform excellently, with cultivated types growing faster, while wild arugula offers more intense flavor and slower bolting. Arugula grows in almost any soil type as long as drainage exists, tolerates pH from 6.0 to 7.5, and requires minimal fertilizer, making it perfect for beginning gardeners or those with less than ideal conditions. Consistent moisture keeps leaves tender and mild, though arugula tolerates brief dry spells better than lettuce or spinach without immediate bolting. The extraordinary advantage arugula delivers involves harvest beginning just 20–30 days after planting, with baby leaves ready even earlier at 15 to 20 days. And the cut-and-come-again harvest method allows picking outer leaves while centers keep producing for 2 to 3 months from single planting. Succession planting every 2 weeks maintains constant supply, and the peppery, nutty flavor adds complexity to salads and cooked dishes that mild greens cannot provide. Flea beetles sometimes create tiny holes in leaves during warm spells, but December planting avoids peak beetle activity, and minor damage doesn't affect eating quality. Arugula's position at number 1 reflects its perfect combination of speed, cold hardiness, continuous harvest, distinctive flavor, minimal care requirements, and remarkable success rate. Even for inexperienced gardeners, essentially representing everything a December planting should be in zones 9–10, with virtually no disadvantages beyond the necessity of succession planting to maintain supply. Charosea, Block 13. Conclusion and action. December planting in zones 9 to 10 opens a world of fresh vegetables when northern gardens lie dormant, and this top 10 countdown provides proven options for winter success. From quick-growing arugula at number 1 through dependable Swiss chard at number 10, each crop offers specific advantages for different garden situations and preferences. The key involves understanding that cool season vegetables actually prefer winter conditions in these warm zones, developing better flavor and encountering fewer pest problems than spring or summer plantings. Successful December gardens start with soil preparation, adding compost to ensure nutrients and drainage, followed by selecting varieties specifically bred for cool weather. Consistent moisture throughout winter months, succession planting every 2 to 3 weeks for continuous harvest, and simple pest monitoring create thriving winter gardens. The beauty of December planting lies in how forgiving these crops become when temperatures stay moderate, growing steadily without the stress of heat or hard freezes. Gardens planted now will produce fresh harvests throughout winter and early spring, providing nutrition and satisfaction during months that could otherwise feel empty. For gardeners in zones 9 to 10, December represents opportunity rather than downtime, and these 10 vegetables prove that winter growing delivers some of the year's best results. Consider planting at least 3 of these crops this month to experience the rewards of December gardening.